So, let me go get something. Hey, it's Sue in the restricted section. Today I'm doing my May wrap-up and June TBR. So the first two books that I read in May, I read during Toil and Trouble-a-thon, which Megan and I already did a wrap-up video for that. So I'm not going to talk about them here, but they were SueCee or Susan, I don't know how, I still have no, if you know how to pronounce that name, S-U-I-S-A-N, please tell me, because I can't find anywhere that it exists. That's by Phyllis Carol Agins, and it's a Snow White retelling from the dwarves' perspective. I liked it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then the other one I finished was The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, and I also liked this one, and I gave it 4 stars. And then I had started this one, but didn't finish it until well after the readathon was over, but that is America Bewitched by Owen Davies. And this is the story of witchcraft after the Salem witch trials. This was really dry, so that's why it took me so long to read it. I kept falling asleep while I was reading it, probably also because I don't go to bed at a decent hour, so I'm always sleep deprived. But yeah, I decided to press on though because I was learning some interesting stuff from it, and it was only 226 pages, so I thought in the end I would be glad I read it, and I am glad I read it. I learned stuff about witch balls. I never knew what a witch ball was before. Now I do. He also talks about how, you know, witchcraft accusations were often rooted in racism. A lot of times Native Americans and African Americans were accused of witchcraft, and they also believed and accused each other of witchcraft within their own communities. Because Native Americans had medicine men, which kind of sometimes were associated with witchcraft, and then African Americans had hoodoo and voodoo. And there's also a lot of witchcraft accusations in Pennsylvania for some reason. A lot of the stories that he cited, a lot of them were in Pennsylvania. But overall, I gave this book 3 stars because, like I said, it was really dry, but also he put just a lot of examples of accusations people made. Like, he looked back through the records and found a record of people publicly accusing, you know, others of witchcraft. And he put just so many of those little examples, and most of them weren't very detailed. He'd just be like, this person accused this person of witchcraft and this blah blah blah. And then with very few details, because I mean he probably didn't know all the details. I felt like he maybe could have incorporated examples sometimes, but not all the time, or I don't know, I just felt like there was too many random examples in there of people in history accusing each other of witchcraft. But all in all, it was an interesting subject, and an interesting look into how much witchcraft has really influenced our government even. There's laws, like there was at one point practicing witchcraft was actually illegal in most states. And since I think all states have since like removed any mention of witchcraft in their laws, but it was, you know, it was serious enough and people actually believed it enough that there was actually a law saying you can't practice witchcraft. And a lot of the ways that people had of undoing the curses or the hexes they thought were on them were really interesting too. So yeah, I am glad I read it, but it was only a mediocre book overall, I think, so 3 stars. And the other book I finished, I actually finished it before that one, so I should have talked about it already, but I forgot. But the other book I finished, I listened to on audiobook, and that was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And this is like a self-help book, and he talks about how too many people give too many fucks about too many things, basically. And you really need to like prioritize and decide which things are really important and which things you should really care about, and then just, you know, fuck all the rest. I wasn't that impressed with the book. However, like I said, I listened to it on audiobook, and audiobooks are very hit or miss for me, and I think this one was a bit of a miss. It wasn't a terrible audiobook, but I just wasn't finding myself focusing on it very well a lot of the time. So I probably didn't absorb it as well as I should have. But I don't know, a lot of the advice he was giving just kind of seemed, I don't know, maybe it was just stuff that I don't really need help with. I don't know, but a lot of the advice he was giving just seemed like common sense, which I guess is kind of what self-help books are anyway. But I don't know, a lot of it I was just like, yeah, obviously. It was funny, but sometimes I felt like he was trying too hard to be funny. I think I gave it 3 stars as well. Again, kind of mediocre in my opinion. I'm currently in the middle of 2 books, and they are The Chrysalids by John Wyndham, which was my April TBR jar pick, and 10th of December by George Saunders, which was my May TBR jar pick. I'm really enjoying The Chrysalids so far. I'm only about 75 pages in, so I'm hoping that I'll really like the whole thing, and I think I should finish it pretty soon because I've been like flying through it already. And then 10th of December, I'm actually buddy reading this with Valentina, and we're almost done. I think we've got like 3 stories left. But this, I don't know how to feel about this yet. I don't know if I'll ever know how to feel about it. I've liked some of the stories a lot, and I've not liked some of the stories, and it's just, it's a weird collection. So we'll see how I end up feeling about it, if I can ever figure it out. Alright, so now for the books that I plan to read in June. I almost said January, way off. First of all, on the 1st of June, I am starting a buddy read of Dracula by Bram Stoker with a bunch of people on Twitter. We have a Twitter group going on. So I think we're going to take maybe about 3 weeks, read it sort of slowly, and read Dracula. So that'll be awesome. I'll be glad to finally read that. And then I talked about this in my TBR last month because I was hoping to get to it, which obviously I didn't. But I want to try this month to read Animal Tales published by Pencil Box Press. And it's just a bunch of short pieces about animals. So fingers crossed that I finally get to that. And then Megan and I kind of had a hankering to do a readathon, and Read-A-Rama's coming up. So I think we're going to do Read-A-Rama in June. But I'm not going to talk about the books I plan to read for that here because we'll do a separate TBR video for that. So all that's left to do is to pick my June TBR jar pick. So let's do it, and I guess I'll shake it. I'm pretty sure that does nothing because they're jammed in there too tight, but let's do this. The Kite Runner. Alright, I've been meaning to read that. I meant to read it last year and never got around to it, so I'm going to be reading The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. Alright, so that is my June wrap-up. I mean, May wrap-up and June TBR. So if you guys have read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them, and there'll be links below where you can find myself and Megan other places on the internet. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!